everybody, welcome back to the Divergent Comics YouTube channel. Doing another comic creator interview. We have Paul back with Acorn Comics. For those of you who do not know, if you go back like maybe 4 or 5 videos, I interviewed Paul to talk about his book Heroes and Zeros. It was a really good book, something I really recommend people read and follow. But I brought him back because he has a new story coming out that we're going to talk about, and I would love for you all to support him with that as well. Paul, how are you doing? And remind people about who you are and what you do.
Hey, Gary, thanks, man. And this is Valkyrie, by the way. He's just decided he's going to join the interview today.
Always great to have more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He does not know the meaning of personal space. So,
Yeah.
this is how this is going to go. I'm Paul Eza. I'm the writer for Acorn Comics. I guess I am the everything for Acorn Comics except for
Yeah.
the artist. All the art stuff, we find very talented collaborators and co-creators to work with. And, but it's, this is now, I put out Heroes and Zeros almost exactly 1 year ago was when we were running the
Nice.
Kickstarter for it. We're running the Kickstarter right now for the Olympian, which is our new book. We are already fully funded,
That was great.
which I love. I love that takes all the stress off. Not
Yeah.
not all the stress, but a lot of the stress because now we're trying to hit those stretch goals. Um, I'm incredibly excited about this story. And pardon me for the very sparse background here, Gary. I mean, I know we talked, but I just
Yeah.
moved and I have not gotten a chance to put like any decorations up other than this curtain to keep the sunlight out. So this is what I got for now. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is I'm incredibly excited. We've already funded and all the art is done.
Hmm.
So this book is coming out probably. We're sending it to the printer as soon as the funds clear from the Kickstarter.
Sweet.
Uh, so yeah, and that's I'm really happy to do that. That was our goal for this one. It's a little bit shorter than Heroes and Zeros, so it was a bit more of an attainable goal. This one's a 22-page kind of standard length comic book, um, and uh, and yeah, so it's very close to my heart for a lot of reasons. There's a little bit of a story to how I came up with this particular idea.
Okay.
Um, and So I can get into that now. I don't know if you got questions you want to lead with, but it's your show, man. So you tell me where we're going.
Well, before we jump into the Olympian, because before we started recording, I told you I had questions and I had words for you. Um,
Yeah.
so, for those of you who don't know, I was blessed and lucky enough to get a preview of this book. And it is an amazing book. It is definitely a page turner. So, if you haven't backed the Kickstarter, the link will be in the description below so you can back this Kickstarter and get this book. This episode will go up this Saturday of the 22nd, I believe is what this Saturday is going to be. So by the time you see this, Kickstarter will still be up, and I think we have until the beginning of April when it ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so. April 8th is the
April
last.
8th. Perfect. So, like I said, go back it. But before we get into all this, me and Paul have been pretty good friends now for a few months, and it's been a great friendship and someone that I can truly say that I really enjoy interacting with on social media, and I love doing this interview. So, a few weeks ago, or maybe in a few days before we actually recorded this, we're recording this on a Sunday. There was a post on Threads that I made. Paul commented and used one of my favorite shows called Psych in the GIF. And it brought up a whole topic that, we're going to discuss really briefly about our top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. Now, if you listen to the Nerds Inc. podcast, I believe I may have gone over this in some capacity, but this is going to be fun to talk with Paul on for a few minutes at least.
And Gary, by the way, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, you're probably the best friend I've got that I've never met in person. So and hopefully we'll change that part at some point
Oh, very soon, yeah.
in the not too distant future. but yeah, and the reason I said that's because I think there's probably going to be a little bit of overlap in some of these shows.
I
So
can imagine.
Psych's definitely on there for me. That's one of them I can just sit down and watch
Yeah,
anytime it's on.
sweet.
Doesn't matter the episode.
Mm-hmm.
That series was just quality from start to finish.
Agreed. Have you seen the TV movies that they made as well?
I, I know I've seen at least one of them, and I can't remember if I got to the others because some of it honestly will kind of blend in with
It is,
is
yeah.
it the movie or is it like the end of the series or in my head I can't really separate them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say that some of them were on a pay channel that I did not subscribe to.
Yeah, yeah. They made Psych 2 and 3 that went straight to Peacock.
Peacock, that was it. And I did not have a Peacock subscription, so I don't know if I've gotten a chance to see those yet. But
Sweet. Well, go ahead. Give us your five.
so let's see. So I'll leave Psych in there, and this is going to be in no particular order because I'm not that organized.
Okay,
But I got to put Scrubs in there.
that's a good one.
That is right up there with one of my all time. And now look, that series had some down moments.
Yeah.
I want to say personally, the middle seasons, I actually thought it got really good the last season before they went into the med school thing.
Okay.
But I thought they kind of rebounded in that last season. And that's not necessarily the most popular opinion,
It's not, no.
well, to me, like the series went with how good Zach Braff was.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought when he went just totally goofy over the top in the like seasons 5 and 6 is when they sort of hit a divot to me.
Yeah.
But those earlier seasons where he's a little bit more like I'm still kind of a goofy character, but like a very awkward, nerdy,
Right.
but still a very sincere type of person. Um, I felt like that was really where it was at its best. Um, so I got that too. I'm going to go into animation here for a second,
That's a good choice.
and I'm going way back here. The Tick,
Oh, that's a good one.
the animated Tick series.
The one
And
from the early 2000s or
no, I'm talking animated, man. I'm talking 90s.
oh yeah. I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah, no,
Vaguely.
yeah, not the one with Patrick Warburton or any of that. Like,
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
man, go check the animation. Like the from the theme song to it was almost like it was a faithful adaptation of the early comic books
Okay.
as far as the feel for it, and even some of the storylines were straight from the early comics.
I like it.
It was just brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Let's see what else is something I'm going to watch no matter what. Um,
That's
I'm
tough.
I'm with you. I'm with you on Daredevil. So I'm gonna throw Daredevil in there.
Good choice.
Of the Marvel shows, I'm not gonna go with too many. I'm not gonna go with multiple Marvel shows because um, that. What else am I gonna put in there, man? Because I mean, top five. Like you know this. I've
Yeah.
listened to enough Nerds Inc. that you always have like 6 honorable mentions on there on
Yeah.
things like this.
There's so many.
Um, but I'm gonna go back to animation,
Mm-hmm. Can never go wrong with animation.
and I'm gonna go with one that I think I haven't heard enough people talk about,
Mm-hmm.
but I absolutely adore it. Um, and it's on Netflix. Troll Hunters.
Interesting. Haven't heard of it.
It's a Guillermo del Toro
Oh,
story,
well, that should be
and
interesting.
it just yeah go check this thing out. It's a interesting concept. It's a lot of fantasy elements, mystical elements, things like that, and just like I say, I'm not enough of an expert in the different genres, but to me, it would kind of go into the almost the sword and sorcery
Okay.
type of thing. But um, really good cast, good animation, good storylines,
Okay.
and something I have gone back and rewatched more than once. And
Nice.
then they had a couple of spin-offs of
Mm-hmm.
it that were different elements that had come in on a couple. They actually had a spin-off called Three Below that Diego Luna was
Oh,
one of the voice actors on,
I like him.
and it was really weird because I watched that before I watched Andor. And here I'm like listening to
Yeah.
it, I'm like watching Andor and I'm hearing this teenage alien.
Yeah. Yep. That is crazy. That's trippy. Okay, I'm gonna add that to my list. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Definitely, man. So give me yours. Give me
All
yours.
right.
I know we got
So
some overlap there, but
yeah, so for I know for a fact we have two in common, and I've actually, as you were talking, I was thinking about all my shows and adding in animation. My list is gonna be a little bit different.
all right.
Um, so at five, I'm always gonna put this, but it's always gonna be Criminal Minds.
All right.
I have a yearly tradition where I rewatch Criminal Minds, and I love that show. It helps me so much. At four, I'm going animation, and I'm going Legend of Korra.
Okay, yep.
I
I'm with you
love that
there.
show.
I I love that one too.
I actually watched it for the very first time like 3 years ago,
Okay.
and I have a weird relationship with it, but I love it.
So here's the thing too. Like I watched it probably about the same time you did,
Yeah.
and I watched that fully through before I watched the full Avatar series.
Oh my goodness.
So I kind of knew about Avatar, and this
Right.
is going back like when Avatar was new, was out. Um, this was before I went to law school, before I met my wife. And I was dating a woman who had a son who was 8 years old at the time, and he would watch Avatar. And like and she would tell me it's like, look, most of the stuff on Disney Channel that he watches is crap, but that stuff is that Avatar, sit and watch that. It's good.
Yeah.
And so I would watch some of it back then with him, but like I never got a chance to watch through the full series. And
Yeah.
so after I watched Legend of Korra, I went back and watched the original Avatar too, and I love that one too. But
Yeah. It's so weird. I think Avatar was like early 2000s.
yeah,
So
got it.
I was like in middle school
Mhm.
when this was going on, and I just didn't know anything about it. I was more of a Disney Channel kid, so I didn't
Mhm.
check out Avatar. But then, like, I want to say a few years after Legend of Korra came out is when I started, thinking, maybe I should check it out. And it wasn't until the pandemic when I actually watched Avatar: The Last Airbender all the way through, and then I think a year or two later I watched Legend of Korra. I love both of them,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and inconsequently, at number three for me is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right.
I like it just a little bit more than Legend of Korra, just because um, I'm a huge stickler for writing, and the writing for Legend of Korra suffers not due to the fact that the writers are bad, but due to the fact that Nickelodeon didn't want to let them finish the story that they wanted to tell the way that they wanted to tell it.
Fair.
Uh, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, beautiful writing from start to finish, and I love it.
Mhm.
Number two is Daredevil. I love Daredevil. Um, I was so excited when Daredevil Born Again came out. I don't know if you've been watching it yet, but I'm absolutely
I have.
loving it.
Yeah.
It is so good, and I think Daredevil, the Netflix series, that those 3 seasons are probably outside of my number one, which is obviously Psych. But Daredevil, the Netflix series, is literally the only TV series that I've ever, after every season, just sat and looked at a wall, questioning like, what should I do next with my life?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and then Psych was the very first show I watched from beginning to end as it aired. So every week, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m., I was sitting in front of the TV with some food, with USA Network on, ready to watch it,
Man,
and
that was
it
like
was
the
perfect.
golden days of USA Network.
It was.
They had some good shows on then.
They
And then,
did
but the Psych theme song
so good.
is so good. And look, man, I just gotta say because this is something. Then my wife, one of her, if she was doing this, she would say one of her shows is The West Wing. That's probably her number one
West Wing is good. Yeah.
overall. It is. I love it, and we've sat and watched it several times over the years. Good God, man. Dule Hill,
Yeah.
or a dude who never gets mentioned as like the biggest star. This dude was on one of the best shows on TV for like 20 years straight.
Hmm.
Like, and I don't know how that man is underappreciated,
It's crazy.
but he
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah. And then he went and did what was that remake? The Wonder Years, which I heard he was really good in that.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I have to check that out too. But
I
I
didn't
heard
realize
I've
I
seen
saw
some
that.
clips and it looks pretty good.
Oh, I mean, if he's in it, it's going to be at least. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't say anything about the writing, but whatever he's given to
He's
work
giving
with,
it 100.
he's going to work with it. Yeah.
Hmm. So y'all got to get a little bit of insight into who Paul and I are, which is great. So Paul, tell us about the Olympian.
All right. So, quick elevator pitch on the Olympian is young man from a small town discovers a talisman. It's in his grandparents' attic that he comes to find out will allow him to gain the powers of the Greek gods.
Mm.
Um, but of course, this isn't just all, hey, I found these powerful things and now everything's good.
Hmm.
There's someone or something lurking, someone or something that is after him that wants the talisman for themselves. Um, and of course, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing with it. So finds himself in a bit of a predicament.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of alluded to this before, like the way I came up with this is very piecemeal if you're going to follow the brain patterns and how everything came together. Um, but the very first inkling of this story came from something I wanted to do for my son.
Mm.
And so my son's name, my wife's family is all Greek. Okay, I mean not directly from Greece, but like her grandparents, great grandparents are from Greece. Um, and so they're all very steeped in Greek culture, Greek tradition. And so his name is Vasilis, very traditional Greek name. And my wife had told me growing up, like, hey, whenever I'd go to Disney or theme park or whatever, nobody would, like, I'd never see my name on a magnet or on a mug or on any of the tourist
Like a
stuff,
Coca-Cola bottle.
souvenirs. Yeah, and like anytime, and my wife's name is Constance, so it's not like that
It's not too uncommon.
unusual, but it wasn't that common for her to see it uh,
Right.
anywhere in public. And I know Vasilis is going to be the same way.
Mm.
So I was like, you know what? I should, whatever my next title is, because I had already written Heroes and Zeros, whatever my next comic title is, I should make the main character, name it after my son, so that he has something that he can at least pull off of my shelf and read a comic book with his name in it.
Absolutely love that.
And so I started trying to think about, okay, what would that work? How would that work? And so he's, the character Vasilis, the main character in this book, is from a Greek family, and I set it up very much like ours, where the mom's side of the family is Greek, dad's side is not Greek. Um, it, Honestly, I did it that way more so. I'll be honest, it's kind of a marketing thing. Well, no, because look, to me, I don't know about you, Gary, but to me, when I'm writing, one of the hardest thing is names.
Yes, it's so
Coming
hard.
up with
Yep.
names is so much harder than coming up with a plot or dialogue or any of that
Honestly,
stuff.
yeah.
Um, and so I like I he already had a unique first name.
Hmm.
I didn't want to give him like a 5 syllable traditional Greek last name.
Right.
That would be very difficult in the unlikely event that this gets picked up somewhere and
Right.
gains a larger audience. Um, so I went with Meyer, uh, which is one of my family names, like my great
That's
grandparents'
nice.
names. So we kind of tied that family history together as well. All right, so where are we going to set this? Every comic book almost is set in New York or Chicago or, I don't know, Metropolis,
Right.
Gotham, whatever it happens to be. So to be a little bit different, something we were chatting about earlier, how are we going to make our own comics stand out and be a little bit
Hmm.
different? I wanted to put it in a small town.
Which I love that aspect of it.
And this is where we're going and pulling from my own history here. The town this is set in, which is a fictional town named Nifty, New Hampshire,
Hmm.
um, is very heavily influenced by the town I went to high school in, named Keene, New Hampshire. Um, and that town, and the reason I thought of that in particular is because that town did have a disproportionately large Greek population.
Makes sense.
And so the first time you see Vasilis, he's standing outside his family's pizza restaurant
Hmm.
in Nifty, New Hampshire, and one of the best pizza places in Keene was run by a Greek family. I think it was I think the name was
Okay.
Athens
Good
Pizza.
choice.
So we went with Parthenon
Right.
here. Um,
Which that pizza looked really good. I have to mention that it did look really good.
yeah, hey, I imagine it would be
Yeah.
best pizza in town.
Hmm.
Um, and so the other thing, and once I settled on that, like, okay, we're gonna do a homage to Keene.
Hmm.
This is the family setup, and the rest kind of flowed from there. You kind of come up with who are the friends, who are the, because he's a townie. He's lived there his whole life. His friends are townies, lived there their whole life.
Hmm.
These are the people he went to elementary school with, and all the way through high school. Um, but the one other thing that Keene was known for, or at least semi-known for, was my senior year in high school, and 1995 graduated. Um, but in late 1994, the late great Robin Williams was in town filming Jumanji.
Are you serious?
So if you've seen
I
Jumanji,
love Jumanji.
you've seen Keene, New Hampshire. That's the town square where all the animals are rampaging.
Oh my goodness. I love that
And
movie.
I got friends whose parents were in the were extras there. Anyone who had classic cars was downtown getting filmed. Um,
Wow.
a lot of the theater geeks, myself included, were told in no uncertain terms that if we skipped school to go down and try and be in the movie, we would not be allowed to do our school theater production that year. And it was my senior year, so I wasn't going to skip out on it. It was The Music Man. It was pretty decent as I remember it, but again, I was in high school, so I don't know if that's objectively true or not. Um,
Yeah.
but,
We'll say it is.
yeah, I'm going to go with it. Nobody can prove me wrong.
Exactly.
so, um, but that movie was filmed, or at least that those parts of the movie were filmed in our town. And if you go back there today, they still have the Paris shoes uh, mural
Wow,
up
that's
on the wall
nice.
of that building. So if you're looking through, and you can see this a little bit in the preview, and this page has been out there a little bit too. Um, it's the page right before the lightning strike.
Hmm.
There's a little billboard up in the back for Parsons Shoes.
Oh, I didn't recognize that.
And so that's a little Easter egg back there for the pair of shoes from Jumanji.
Tell all your friends to watch the Divergent Comics YouTube channel because you only get these type of nuggets on the Divergent Comics YouTube channel. I like that.
And so like I've been and look, I've been trying to get everybody from Keene to kind of pay attention. It's been a while since I've lived there, so
Hmm.
but I still have a lot of friends back there, and um, it's challenging to always get people to pay attention to that stuff. I'm like,
Right.
look, guys, if you read this, there's going to be some things you recognize from
Yeah.
town. It's going to be cool. You're going to like it. Um, so yeah, and look, that's not a look, man. Getting the Keene, New Hampshire market is not going to make me an overnight success here. Like, it is still very much a small town,
Yeah.
but hey, it's where I went to high school, so
Yeah.
got a
It's,
special
it's
place in my
little
heart.
things.
I still love it. And I'm hoping to make it up there at some point and convince one of the comic shops up there to take
That
a
would
couple.
be awesome. That would be awesome.
Maybe if I can swing it after Terrificon this year, because I know we're going up to Terrificon just as guests, as attendees,
Okay.
for up in at Mohegan Sun. So while we're up in New England, we'll maybe make that extra trip.
Nice. So if y'all aren't excited about the Olympian from that, I don't know what to tell you. But you're running a Kickstarter. It's been going now for about 2 weeks. You were fully funded within the first 3 days. Is that right? Or
2 days.
2 days?
We
Two
made it in
days.
Gary, man, we haven't even been going a full week yet.
Oh yeah.
By the
It
time
will
this
be
airs,
two
it'll be
weeks.
almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yes,
So
that's fair.
tell us or tell the people when they back this Kickstarter, what are some of the rewards they can get from it?
All right, so we've got obviously the comic book. I hope that's what most people are interested in when you're coming, because you're gonna love this comic book. Just
Yes.
I love this comic book. Everyone involved with this comic loves it. The
I
artist
love
on
this
this
comic.
is Dee absolutely loves this. And Dee's somebody I've known for years and years.
She will be on the YouTube channel soon as well.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her very soon to try to get her scheduled.
nice. Yeah, she's got plenty of other stuff to talk about besides this one, but I'll get you in touch. She's fantastic.
Awesome.
Um, and so, but the comic is great. We've got three different covers. The main one that has been out there for a while that Dee drew with colors by the series colorist Ibrahim Aydin,
Hmm.
um, who and I found him. One of the things I love about indie comics and kind of being into the community and supporting some of the comics that I've supported over the years. I found Ibrahim because I love the job he did on another indie comic. I don't know if you know Devin R. Scott.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been
Yeah, so
following him.
Devin did a comic called Magni the Mighty,
Okay.
and Ibrahim did the colors on that. And I was going through my comics from that I had gotten from other small creators. I'm like, all right, let me see who's got the right style for this
Right.
particular. And when I was reading through Magni, I'm like, oh, yep, there we go, there we go.
He did a really good job. I will say that he did a
He's
really
doing
good
he's
job.
doing a fantastic job. Yeah, and he's almost done too. Like we're waiting. I think I just got through page 17, so we got 5 pages left for
Sweet.
colors. Dee's doing all the lettering, so she's already actually done the lettering for the whole thing.
Nice.
Um, so as soon as I get those last 5 pages, we've got the covers. Um, I get it sent to the printer as soon as we get the funds for it. Um, but so we got those. We've got the second cover by make sure I'm pronouncing the name. It's Salome Luce Antoinette.
Okay.
Um, and I've seen her on social media going by Sally Lockhart.
Hmm.
And I've been a big fan of hers for a while too. And she's been in the indie comic scene for a while. And she's just everything she puts out. I'm like, damn, that
She's really talented.
this lady's talented.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was really, really happy to be able to get her on one of the covers. And then the third cover we got is Walter Giovanni.
Which is my favorite.
And look, Walter is just an absolutely, I think, I don't know about underrated because I don't know anybody who's seen his stuff that doesn't love it, but
Hmm.
underutilized
Yeah.
because I don't see him all over the place. But he's probably best known for the work he did on Red Sonja.
Hmm.
And so the way I met Walter, you may already know this, you may have put this together already. In Heroes and Zeros, our last stretch goal was a 2 page bonus story written by Gail Simone.
Which is great.
Right. It was just an absolute coup for me. But, when Gail Simone says, yes, I'll write a story for you, you say, okay, Gail, tell me who you want to do the art.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I was perfectly happy finding someone if she didn't have the time or didn't have a preference or whatever. But she gave me two names. Walter was one of them. And so reached out. He said he was, I think his exact words were, I'm very busy, but I never turned down the chance to work with Gail.
Says every artist known the man.
Right. So I'm like, nice. And they did a absolutely wonderful 2-page bonus story about a rabbit.
It was so simple, but it was great.
It was, and it will be continued in Heroes and Zeros too, by the way. Not
I
the
love it.
Gail is turning over the writing reins, so I
Okay.
don't know. I the uh, I don't know the exact team yet, but we will be continuing Mortimer's
Good to
story
know.
in the back pages of Heroes and Zeros too. Um, so Walter, that's how I met him, and and this is something I mentioned. I know it's been out there a little bit on socials. Um, we had a cover artist lined up, and first and foremost, not throwing anybody under the bus. The first person we had lined up to do the variant had to back out, deadlines unavoidable. And he's a fantastic. I'm not going to mention the name because I, again, don't want to try and throw anybody
Right.
on. But fantastic artist, fantastic person, just got hit with some deadlines. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at a place where I'm like, okay, we're about to launch this. I got to get somebody in who can get it done. And I was like, well, why not reach out to Walter? He helped me out last year. He does fantastic work. And I reached out, and he was, yeah, jumped in eagerly. I was
Sweet.
really, really happy and really lucky to get him. Um, and it just, like you say, he did a fantastic job, and he just absolutely blew it out of the park with it.
Oh yeah. I'm so excited to get that book because that cover is amazing. I love it.
It's yeah, I love what he did with it. Yeah, I love the idea of Vasilis with the talisman and the pose
Me too.
of Discobulus, the discus
Mhm.
thrower statue.
Yes.
Um,
I love it. I love it so much.
and, and so that, yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting it too, man. Like, you want to take that book in your hand.
Yeah.
The first time when you get those proofs in, you're
Yeah.
like, yep, nothing beats it.
That's life changing, honestly.
So those are the three. I'm rambling a little because your question was, what else can you get with this? Those are the three covers we can get. Now, moving on from the book, moving on from the comic itself, you can get a copy of Heroes and Zeros,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the Kickstarter copy that has the Gail Simone bonus story in it.
You want to get that.
Um, as soon as those Kickstarter copies are gone out of my storage, there will be no more with that story in it.
Mm.
The regular printed version, the digital version that's online now doesn't have it because when I do something for Kickstarter, I want it to be exclusive to those who back the Kickstarter. And of course, there's going to be some extra copies, and like I don't feel bad about that. But once those are gone, those are gone. So get those while you can get them. And we also put together your very own Talisman of Olympus. This
Which is
is
so cool.
this is the art that D came up with for the talisman that
Mm-hmm.
Vasilis finds, and we got this done as an antique bronze style stamped metal coin. So it's the amulet stamped on the coin. On the back, it has sort of the tagline for the series: "Who will claim the power of the gods?" Um, and it came out so much better than I even imagined it would.
Nice.
Like it's about an inch and a half uh, diameter, or yeah, diameter coin. Got to get those geometry terms
Yeah.
back in my head. It's been a while.
It has been a while for me too.
So, but man, it came out so good. I'm so happy about it. And of course, for anyone who would rather have just some prints to hang up, you can get prints of each of the covers. And we're starting to get into stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, unless we've gotten some fairly large And nope, just wanted to make sure. We have not gotten 15 more backers since we started recording.
Which is good.
I mean, I'd love it if we got 15 more backers since we started recording, but
Yeah.
um, so we've got the first stretch goal revealed, which is a bundle of digital comics, including the Charger from one Gary Jones,
Yes. Yes.
that I'm excited to have in there, and several others. So total right now, total of 7. Had a couple other folks say that they're going to put something together. I'm not going to formally include those until I actually have it because
Right.
things happen and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But that's 7 extra digital comics. So let's just say, hey, if you're not sure, if money's tight, whatever, just back the $5
Mm-hmm.
digital tier. And as soon as we hit 2,000 total, and we're about, I want to say just about $300 off right now,
Nice.
you'll get the Olympian digitally and those 7 other comics and any other comics that I get in between now and the end of the campaign.
That's awesome.
So for $5, and look, I don't want to count any chickens or anything, but we got 3 weeks to go. I'm confident we're going to get another $300 and at least get over that first stretch goal.
Oh, for sure.
So get in on that. You get 8 digital comics for $5 at
That's a
least.
steal. That is a steal.
And you can, and that's, yeah, it's going to be a steal. When we get to 75 backers, the prints right now, any prints that get ordered, you can order them as add-ons or at the top tier. The top pledge tier also includes the prints. Are going to go from comic size to 8.5 by 11 print size. So if we get 75 backers, those prints, they just magically grow.
That is huge.
So nice for framing and putting up on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, and like you say, those covers are gorgeous art, and they're going to look great hanging up. So,
Oh yeah.
And then once we get to 1750 as a $1,750,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we're going to reveal the next stretch goal.
And that's gonna be exciting.
So the next stretch goal is going to be, so hit 2,000, we get the bundle. Hit 2,500, that's going to be the next stretch goal. And we're going to tell you what that is once we get to 1,750. So a little bit more incentive to keep things rolling.
Keep it exciting. I love it.
Absolutely, yep. And like I said, hopefully by the time this drops, we'll have already revealed what that is. You can always go check it out on the campaign page, olympiancomic.com. One of the things that I've found helpful to market it for both pre-launch and during the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
you've seen what the Kickstarter URLs are, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kickstarter.com/something/something else
Mm-hmm.
dot whatever. Very hard to just get on a show and say, go to this website
It is very hard, yeah.
and do it. So doesn't cost that much extra to register a URL and just redirect it to the Kickstarter site.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
so that I've done that with Heroes and Zeros. I did it with the Olympian. Olympiancomic.com takes you straight to the campaign page. Or if you go to acorncomics.com, it's right there on the front page. There's a link to it as well.
Awesome.
So lots of ways you can get there if you're trying to find it.
I love it. You know, that's really exciting. Just, hearing all the different rewards, all the different stretch goals that you have. And like I said, this is only technically week 1. By the time this drops, we'll be going into week 2. So it's just so exciting to see how everything is just coming along for the Olympian and for Acorn Comics.
Man, tell me about it. I'm thrilled. I'm blown away. Every time I do one of these, I'm like, maybe they were just being nice last time. But no, people are coming out. People are
Yeah.
okay. And I'll tell you too, those coins, the Talisman coins, that is a limited edition. Got 200 of them made for the campaign. those are the only 200 I'm ever going to make.
I love it.
So if that's something, if you like collecting coins, get in on that while you can too, because
Hmm.
these are not going to be around once they're all sold.
That's awesome. So, Paul, we're about to wrap up. This has been great as usual.
Uh,
One last question for you.
Before we get that, can I add one more thing in? I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta promo one more thing
Okay.
for anybody who's in general South Florida area. I say we just moved down this way, down in Boynton Beach, Florida. I'm making my convention debut this year
Oh,
on April 5th at PalmCon South, PALM Con South. So
nice.
it's a 1 day, April 5th in Delray Beach, which is one town over from me. It's about 20 minutes from my house. I figured that was a really good way to break into the cons, especially with only at that point I'm going to have one comic to sell. So I didn't want to overextend myself in a full like 3 day
Yeah,
convention, you know.
I got it.
Um,
Yeah.
but hey, if you're around, come see me, and we will have for anyone who hasn't backed the Olympian yet. If you come down to the convention, I might have a little something extra for you if you back it when we're there.
Like I said, everyone watching this, tell your friends about the Divergent Comics YouTube channel because you only get these type of things on Divergent Comics YouTube channel. That was great. I did not expect that. He caught me off guard. So awesome, and that's exciting. I wish I could come and see it, but I know that there will be more cons where we're
Yeah, we're,
gonna.
we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna meet at a con this year, Gary. I can feel it. We're gonna make it happen.
I feel it too. I feel it too. So my final question for you, Paul. This is a very fun, entertaining question. Um, if you could write any fictional character, any fictional character into your comics universe, who would it be?
I'm gonna shoot. Oh shoot, man. Um, that's gonna be hard because I'm trying to think of a fictional character who would fit more naturally into some of the comics I've done.
Yeah.
Um, I might go with So Heroes and Zeros is set well in the future,
Mm-hmm.
so that could very easily fit with almost anything with sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go, and this is I guess this would end up being one of my honorable mentions because I didn't plan this out ahead of time as far as the TV shows.
Yeah.
But my favorite Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars fan overall, not the tell you every line of every movie of every TV show kind of fan, but I'm a big fan of it overall. And Rebels was my favorite Star Wars series.
I still have to watch that.
So I would probably want to bring. I'm going to throw a curveball here because it's not going to be Ezra. It's not going to be Kanan.
Okay.
I'm going to bring in Zeb. Zeb's the big purple alien
Okay.
in
I
that
can get with
series,
that.
and I just think he's fun. I could have a lot of fun with him coming into the Heroes and Zeros
Mm-hmm.
universe.
That would be
Uh,
great.
and yeah. If you haven't seen Rebels, man, go like for
Yeah.
real, go check that out.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch that. I like it. Well, everyone, that's Paul. Uh, like I said, if you don't know Paul, if you haven't been following Paul, you should go follow Paul. Follow Acorn Comics. They do amazing work. One of my favorite things is just the social work that he did last year when the hurricanes hit and taking all the donations from purchasing the comics and using that to go towards relief. That was absolutely phenomenal. And that's something I admire. So
Oh, thank you. That was I can't always do a lot, but you do what you can.
exactly, exactly. And that's going to be remembered. So let's help make the Olympian Kickstarter as great as it can be. So if you're watching this, the Kickstarter link and the link to the website will all be in the description below. Uh, Paul, can you tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work?
Absolutely. So, easiest place to find the work is acorncomics.com. You can see what we're doing. You can see, you can get copies of Heroes and Zeros and any of the merch we still have for that one from the campaign. And we also have a page on the webpage, Indie Comics Corner, that is dedicated to other people's comics that are crowdfunding.
That's
Just
crazy.
try and, because look, indie comics is hard, man.
Yeah.
Promotion is hard. This is not what any of us are doing for our full-time job, right? Like, it is hard. So the very least I can do is use my very limited reach to try and say, hey, if you're not looking at my stuff, go look at this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got it. By the way, I got to update that because I know that page is out of date. So hopefully by Saturday I will have updated that, so that there are actually active campaigns up there. I think the campaigns I had up there have all closed, so I got to do some work on it. I said, man, I moved, so I'm behind.
Yeah, you're fine. No one's gonna.
You don't want to see how many boxes are still in my house right now. But as far as social media, mostly active on Threads and Blue Sky. So it's Acorn Comics on Threads. I believe it's Acorn Comics is the name on Blue Sky. I think the handle is EZAESQ. So my last name, attorney. Because when I got that, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it for my legal business or my comic stuff, and I kind of leaned in toward the comic stuff because that's a lot less depressing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just couldn't be that serious and engaging on social media at the same time. I just couldn't do it.
It's too draining.
But that's the handle I got, so that's where you can find me on Blue Sky. And that's, like I say, I've got a Acorn Comics YouTube channel. I do not use it very much, mostly for trailers for the comics that are coming out, and occasionally I'll put something else up there, but I've yet to figure out a way to use that I'm going to consistently do. So, if you're on there, go ahead and subscribe, and if I put up something interesting, you'll get a notification.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank y'all for watching. Paul, thank you again for coming on here. This was a blast, as usual.
Hey, thanks, Gary, and I will come on and talk to you anytime, whether we're recording for this or not, man. Just let me know. We'll come chat.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
No problem. Y'all have a good one.